right as we yeah. What's up? What if you're still in your future? Uh, once mock draft going, then it is so abilities of video on demand and I will start at be a little let people here. So there will be one draft tonight because we're be our listen draft and probably I'm aiming September date. So like no show up and just ask in Tuesdays and Thursdays or when we're locked 8 Eastern Standard. So just show up to one of those. Let me know in. You know all that good stuff. I do self advertisement here. Boom. Yeah. This is my website. Beautiful www.ff4f. You can you click out there. Like a good old site. Click on any of these links to the update on the it compared to not compared to like on your phone or something. It's as nice. I keep this kind of short. It's better. And to show you, we'll just back right up. Get soon. Oh, right on the home page. You can come down here and say that, and you can on this 5 printable draft sheet. I'll get the other thing fixed tomorrow. And a bar sheet for you, which is not up to date with my rankings. I did 7 hours ago. As of recording this live, my sound is all messed up. Oh no! It's showing right. Hold up. There we go. Is it better? No, you can't come over here. One moment. It is better? Alright, I'll keep my eye out to see if it's been touchy again lately. Cat hair. So up on the website, you click on this, it gets you this little bar sheet, which already needs to be updated again. And then we go back to Sleeper. Robbie D, Sheila, are you two in on the league? I'm gonna go over. I think we'll do a draft first because usually we're more busy as things go along, and then I'll check if you guys are okay with the rules that I set up for a league. Get an okay from the group. And then I was thinking September 4th. That's a Tuesday as well, since, You guys are usually available on Tuesdays, and that's 2 days before the start of the NFL. So that'll allow us the most time to be up to date. Mic check. Okay. And try and keep my volume bar. It was weird though, because usually if it's being weird, it doesn't have like, the volume shows that it's cutting out. So it just must have been fuzzy before or something. Do either of you like 12 team, or should we keep it 10 team for the mock? Obi, what up? Obi, do you want in on the league? If so, just stick around. We'll be going through the rules. Whoever's here will accept it. I'm assuming there will be a couple people that, are interested that maybe aren't here tonight. But we have about a month before what I'm thinking we should draft on Tuesday, September 4th. And I think once we go over the rules later, then I'll give you guys the link to it in chat. Michael, how's it going? There is a link in chat to the current draft if you want to hop on in there. I will go over. Where did it go? Some of the stuff, news, big stuff happening over this past week, and then more currently. But Kyron Williams got a big contract, so if he's somebody you were concerned about, one of those other running backs, potentially, I don't want to say they couldn't eat into his workload, but if you were legitimately concerned about him, which apparently some people out there were, you shouldn't be, because 3 years, $33 million, $23 million guaranteed. For a running back, they tied their knot with him. Sheila taking a 10 spot. All right, Emeka Egbuka. This is a report. I don't know who wrote this. TWSN. So Matthew Martinez. A quote from a random. Well, I don't know who they are. However, talking about Emeka Egbuka, they said, with an aging Mike Evans, which is something I have talked about, and as of right now, a version of Chris Godwin who isn't 100%, Egbuka can push his way onto the field and play a significant role in this offense. And the person who made that also said, watch out for Egbuka as the Buccaneers wide receiver 1. Obi checking them picks out. Let's see. On the first depth chart of the season, the Jaguars are listing number 2 overall pick Travis Hunter as a starting wide receiver and a second-string cornerback. So that's fantasy-wise for the most part. IDP, maybe it's a different story. But, that's good news. It's what I was hoping for the most. Still, based on training camp and everything, I'm still concerned about how much he's going to be used on defense and how that might impact exactly how much he gets used on offense. So I'm still not sure about him fantasy-wise, but generally speaking, that's better news than not for him. Tyreek Hill continues to be hot and cold with his comments. Let's see. 2 days after saying it's important to show up for the team's stretches, Tyreek Hill misses the team stretching period. This was a couple of days ago. And a couple of days before that, he said the solution to the short yardage struggles for the team would be to take Devon Achane out on third and short situations, which is kind of like I don't know if he's wrong. I feel like that's kind of why they drafted Ollie Gordon, but you don't have to say it. He signed with the Chargers. No, that's the worst place. That was on the news docket, was that he visited there. He just signed with them, really? It was like 6 days ago that he visited too, so I was kind of like, oh, probably not real. Let me go to social media here. Mm, I don't see it yet. A six-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, Keenan Allen. This is less than an hour ago. Signed with the Chargers. I hate that. They have Lad McConkey, which just makes me feel like he's more of a def signing, though, at the same time. You know? I don't know how to feel about that. But for Trey Harris, then, like, do I want to get lower on Trey Harris with him there? He wouldn't go. It's such a weird. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that, and I don't like it. Let's see. Other news going on, so that's something. I can't imagine he'll go on the field over Lad McConkey, and I can't. I think it's weird to put him at a different position, though, too. I'm going to have to listen to what their plans are there and see what their plans are in camp and everything. I don't think so. But it certainly enters, a little bit more risk into the equation, at least. Like I said, I'm going to have to see what's happening in training camp. See how they talk about it. They're obviously going to talk really positively about it. But, like, actions more than words. I really am going to be curious. I hope he gets into camp and starts working with them. Which I would assume he will, to see what that is. Another bit of information that clouds the situation, and it's another funky one. James Conner, a few days ago, said of their other running back, Trey Benson, second-year running back, his quote is, "We are both RB1. He's going to play a lot this year." And the staff, all the news outside of this that's been coming out has been that it's still James Conner role. So I was lower on James Conner originally this offseason because at the end of last season, they even mentioned that like Trey Benson would have an increased role this year, which I would assume he probably will to some extent. But at the same time, all the news has just been, it's, still James Conner's backfield outside of this. What do we do with it? I don't know. Jordan Addison earlier today was suspended for his 3-game suspension. I think a lot of people, I think this was coming because his ADP has lowered over the last month, or even 2-3 weeks. I moved him back in my rankings expecting, I'm pretty sure when I did it, I was like probably 3 weeks. So it doesn't change my rankings on him, but something to keep in mind in your drafts. Freaking Keenan Allen news. Something that I missed almost a week ago. Zach Moss was released by the Bengals. I assume that's his career. I assume that has to do with his neck, and it just hasn't gotten better enough, and not something they want to mess with. Probably not something that they got like the clear from their medical staff on, in terms of we could put this guy out there and feel good about it. Another interesting bit of news from yesterday. Mr. Magic, get out in here and stick around if you want to be in the listener league. We'll do that after the mock draft. Najee Harris, quote unquote, getting better because he was walking laps as part of his rehab from what is supposed to be a superficial eye injury. You can't jog? A superficial eye injury? You can't run? Odd. Which, just going to create all the more steam for Omarion Hampton, and I'm not exactly off of that train for Omarion Hampton. I think he is 11th in my rankings now, which feels a little bit crazy, but at the same time, is it? If you really think about it, is it that crazy to think that he like, if he were to do better than Ashton Jeanty at the end of the year because he's on a better offense, should we be that surprised by it? I don't think so. Ashton Jeanty's path is just a little bit more clear in terms of having that workload that, could produce better numbers. But especially with this Najee Harris stuff, that's kind of odd. Who knows? Are we all going to be next to each other? Crabcats, Burgos. Nick Chubb news has not good. Not good. No burst was the first thing that came out on him from a beat writer. And then his own head coach, D'Amico Ryans, has this quote to say. So first, a couple days ago, well, maybe this was before that. I don't know. This was 4 days ago. But D'Amico Ryans on Nick Chubb. Guy's age. He's been through a lot. It's not always going to be the same as his early years in the NFL. But what I hang my hat on with him is that this guy loves football. He's physical. He plays and prepares the right way. Really sharp guy in the protection scheme. I don't disagree with him, obviously, but that's not exactly glowing in terms of like fantasy. So I'm with them a little. It sounds like even if he's the running back all season long, if Joe Mixon stuff goes real south, Christian McCaffrey path, and he only plays a few games this year or something like that, Nick Chubb still might be like very floor, driven and without much high upside. So things are concerning there. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, once again, is a name that is just getting more and more buzz every day, it feels like. And I don't think that should be completely ignored. Little news on Bucky Irving, that gives me a little bit more faith on him. He is viewed by people in the building. This is as of this morning. This came out from an ESPN writer that is viewed by people in the building as special enough to warrant a high-volume RB1 role that includes pass-catching work. So that's pretty much what we've been drafting him as. I've cooled off I've always been concerned about how high we have him ranked, and I think I pushed him back in my rankings a little bit. I might end up going back up a little bit. It was by Dan Graziano, by the way. So, good news. In terms of him, not so great news for Rachaad White, but that just helps to clear up that backfield, hopefully, a little bit. The top 5 players in PPR right now, I believe it goes, for me, I just want to double check. Yeah. Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, probably Justin Jefferson by the time draft day comes around, depending on when you're drafting. But the injury, the current hamstring issue to Justin Jefferson might cause me to go Saquon Barkley instead of Justin. I lean Justin Jefferson because I typically want to take a wide receiver there because I like some of those running backs that I can get at the 2-3 turn. And I want to start a little bit more wide receiver heavy currently. That strategy of mine could always tweak by the time we get to game day as ADPs and everything changes. That always changes, But currently I lean towards wanting to go wide receiver. So I think I'd still go Chase. I think I'd go wide receiver, and then Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. Probably Bijan Robinson just outside of that. And probably Christian McCaffrey, then Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, BTJ, Derrick Henry, Devon Achane. I might have to move Devon Achane up more. He might have to go all the way up to 4. I'm just worried about that Miami offense a little bit. Yeah, so I'm just a little bit lower on Bijan, 6th. Then I'm a top 5 because I have Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of him, and I like the wide receivers generally just a little bit more, in part because for strategy reasons, but also because I just feel very, very comfortable and safe about what Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Justin Jefferson are going to be. Whereas I have a little bit easier of a time saying, Saquon Barkley, he had so many carries last year, injury concerns, wearing down, not being as efficient, all those things. Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm projecting him to get a little bit more work this year because of the new offensive coordinator, everything, to take on more of an RB1 role than a 1A to a 1B. I'm expecting more of a 1 and a 2 between him and What's his freaking face? Jeez. I'm looking for his name now and not even thinking of it, and there he is, David Montgomery. And then, yeah, I have Bijan then right behind him. Pretty much no difference, though, between Bijan and Jameer. I just still trust Detroit's offense a little more than Atlanta, and when it comes to breaking a tie, I'll go with the better offense. Sonic and Knuckles. Gibbs ahead of JJ. Yeah, so like I said, it is a hamstring for Justin Jefferson. So that is... Don't want to completely ignore that, but at this point, I'm still thinking, like, you know, some things I might draft differently than how I have it ranked if I were to be drafting today compared to if I were to be drafting in 3 or 4 weeks. But I try to make my projections, you know, ahead of, like, week 1. So, like, right now, a month ahead of time, I'm still not too concerned about injuries that it takes a month to heal from. Like, okay, great. You have that full month to heal from them. And you don't even have to try to push yourself to enter a game all the sooner. Addison's missing 3 games. Yep. Lots of little injuries going on. Same with, and so a little bit of news from the New York Jets. Their tight end, rookie tight end, Jason, what's his name's son. Their new rookie tight end, she's going to be the tight end 1, had an injury too, and that concerns me for a rookie tight end. That's a position that, you know, it takes some time to learn for most guys. In terms of the receiving side of it, that's a little bit easier, but the blocking side can take some time to learn. But he's also a very young kid who I think is a bit of a project, but also a good receiver, and just in a really good situation, which is why I liked him, but a little bit concerned, or because of that, a little bit more optimistic on Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Because if he's not in the building, if he's not creating a repertoire with Justin Fields this offseason, heading into week 1, at least early portion of the season, that might mean a couple extra targets for those other guys that don't go his way compared to what I had been expecting. So I still love the opportunity for him. I still think he has time to get healthy for the season, but he's going to be missing some time. Not great. A.J. Brown, another guy who's missing some time with a hamstring injury, and it's not great. Cam Scadaboo, concerns about that with his injury less than a week ago. Rookie running back Cam Scadaboo, who had been sidelined for the last 2 practices, returned for the start of Friday's session, but midway through he left the field with the trainer, walking off under his own power, looking frustrated. So it sounds like they tried to push it. It didn't work out. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Cam. Running backs, I'm less worried about in terms of missing some time in the offseason than I am wide receivers, tight ends, other positions in general. Najee Harris was walking, so that's supposed to be progress, which I went over, like a superficial eye injury and that's progress. It's a little bit concerning to me. Let me make sure I'm not missing any other big stories for now here before I look at just what's been happening today. Deebo Samuel apparently had a hand injury. Okay. Isaac Rendo going to be missing several weeks with his injury. That happened, was that just yesterday? So yeah, Isaac Rendo injury, that's unfortunately part of him. Part of his story. 1A, 1B situation, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason repeated again. That was just from head coach Kevin O'Connell. I don't mind this for Aaron Jones. But for Jordan Mason, that's nice. It's nice to have those things a little bit cleared up by the head coach. I don't think he's lying. Xavier Worthy had been banged up like a week ago. Okay. Now let me just see what the newest news is that hasn't gotten a chance to jump up here. Baker Mayfield stuff. Chargers are signing Keenan Allen, which we'll see. Somebody made a post being worried about Puka Nacua. I have talked about that at several occasions. I think you should be concerned and maybe not drafting him quite as high. Shedeur Sanders is going to be named the starting quarterback for the first preseason game. Still 4th on their depth chart, which would be pretty common. Teams all handle things differently, so I don't know exactly if he's going to be out there with all of his starters. I don't know if he's going to be out there with all the third team, fourth team guys. I don't know about that. And I do believe that Dylan Gabriel's injured as well. Maybe this would have been Dylan Gabriel's. Don't know really what to make of that. Obviously not a bad thing, but I don't think it's a good thing either. Jordan Addison news. The Bucks signed Teddy Bridgewater today. The Kyron Williams contract was a good thing. Good news on Bucky Irving in terms of the building being positive about him. Okay, Jags head coach said Travis Hunter could play around 80% of offensive snaps. Yeah, so that's my concern on that. But that's a slot wide receiver, which is I think what he's going to be for them. So that's better than the worst case scenario I had in mind for him, if that's going to be the case. Now, you never know if if they actually follow up on it when they say these things. All right, I think, guys, get ready for the draft here. Torrey Horton, Seahawks rookie wide receiver Torrey Horton, turning heads by making multiple plays every day in camp. So I think it's going to be a long. I don't think Torrey Horton, unless there's an injury there, will probably be fantasy relevant, but that's a name keep in your head if he becomes a name on waiver wires. If there's an injury in Seattle, Torrey Horton is your man to pick up. I really liked him in the actual draft, the NFL draft. If you're not aware, I spend half the year on the NFL draft and then half the year on fantasy stuff, and I think that helps to give me some insight on the rooks. Brown's depth chart, Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, Sanders in that order. Which, I should clarify too on that order. It's really early, so part of that draft order, part of that depth chart, I do believe Joe Flacco will be the starting quarterback. I don't know for how long, might be the entirety of the season, but, it's also one of those things, rookies got to earn their way up the depth chart, so to be seen how that depth chart will be breaking out. Travis Hunter starting more Travis Hunter stuff. Najee Harris walking. Favorite late round picks, Obi? I have a lot of videos on this stuff. For wide receivers, it's a lot of the rookies. Roman Wilson's one of them. That's not going. Nick Chubb had been one of them for running backs, but I'm not so sure about that upside given the news on his health from his head coach even. I don't know why Travis Hunter is playing both roles. It depended on what team was going to draft him. I think the best case scenario was going to be for him to be a full-time defensive player and then a specialty, depending on how the game's going, you have a couple of offensive packages specifically that he can play in, as well as just anytime that you're in the red zone. Anytime you're within 20 yards of the end zone, then he's also on the field. And maybe if you're backed up in your own end zone, you get him on the field. I think that would have been the best the best usage of Travis Hunter, but he's a darn good receiver as well. And clearly, you don't draft him with the wide receiver room that you have in Jacksonville and the quarterback that you want to get pushed up to that next level who hasn't quite gotten there and reached his heights without putting him on offense the most. The moment the Jaguars got him, he's going to be on offense a fair bit. So I guess I'll go from the 8 spot then. We'll just do 2 pockets of 3 here. D's nuts, Burgos, Obi, get on in here. We gotta start this draft soon. I understand you might have stepped away for a moment. Mock draft starting? Here. Okay. I will go make sure I didn't miss anything on the news. Give you guys a moment. Yeah, I already killed the news anyways. So, oh well. Obi came in. There we go, Obi. You're on top of it. D's nuts. Where is you? Burgos. Michael. Come back. The other Michael, are you coming in here? You were here, now you're gone. Baker, I missed that one. Baker, didn't he have like a little hand injury or something? I don't know. It didn't seem too concerning. If you're just asking general thoughts on Baker, I don't like where he gets drafted, or Patrick Mahomes. Like, I just don't like that area of the draft for them compared to what you can get much later that I might actually like more even, or just as much, quite literally. So, you know, still optimistic on the year he'll have. I don't know that he has as good of a year as he had last year, but it might not really be a whole lot worse enough to really matter. However, yeah, I think we're drafting him near his ceiling, and I don't think that you need to draft the quarterbacks that highly, that group of quarterbacks. When you can get stuff like 5-6 rounds later that's so much better. Or even just take two guys right near the end of your draft and get like Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. If you want to take that risk, it might pay off, you know, so. Michael D's nuts. I think we're going to start without you. We're starting. You can always come back in after a couple. 1 minute. I think it's set for half PPR. 2 wide receiver, 2 running back. Let me double check on that. Yeah, I've got it set for half PPR. 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, tight end, quarterback. No DST, no kicker. Just like not planning on having those positions either in the listener league if we get that up and going appropriately. Computer starts off Jamar Chase. Jameis? Sheila, is Jameis a name? I don't think so. So, Bijan going next. I'm going to let the clock tick on Burgos in case he comes. Maybe he's listening to me from the other room and he's trying to run. Jamar is a cool name. Yeah, Jamar is. But Jameis? It's actually not, it's not terrible. Michael, coming in. You sexy dog, you. All right, taking Barkley with the 3rd pick. Jahmyr Gibbs following that up. People aren't with me on this, I'm telling you. Wide receiver early. Krabby Cats grabbing Jefferson, not afraid. Team 7 gets Lamb. Team 6 taking Puka over Lamb. Cray. It's up to me. I would have taken Lamb. So, McCaffrey. Neighbors. Huh. I think McCaffrey might make it around anyways, potentially, so. I'll go with Neighbors. Yeah. My number 4 wide receiver now. I always want to call Jahmyr Gibbs Jammer. I just read Jamar's cool again. I'm like, Jammer. Amon or St. Brown going right behind me. Obi, not afraid to take the safe route. I'm going to double that up. You're going to double that up with the wide receiver? Or do you go with the running back? Guys, what do you think? Do you think that I should move Achane up half PPR, up ahead of Henry and McCaffrey? Henry. Up ahead of Henry. And McCaffrey, I mean, for up, whatever. I can't put him ahead of McCaffrey. Do you think I should put him up ahead of Henry? It's just weird, though, because I almost feel safer with him than McCaffrey, but I don't know that I do. Nico, Derrick Henry going around that corner. Sheila going H&N Nico. Nice. Sexy duo. Brian Thomas Jr. I'll take the guy who I think could be a game changer for my team. And Christian McCaffrey could also suck, and hopefully then I've got a running back good enough to replace that. Genty, Brian Thomas going right behind that. King Henry. I loved him so much those first. So I drafted his, might have been Henry's rookie year or maybe his second year, but I think it's his rookie year. It was him and a very aged running back who I drafted like 7th round. You know, it's like it's another running back, but he's the starter for the team. And I had good it might have even been pretty high up. Maybe it was even a 3rd, 4th round guy. And I had him I watched the Tennessee games a lot, and every game I got so upset because this Derrick Henry guy was taking too many carries, and he looked fantastic. And then they went and they got another guy from New England that they brought in, and they kept Derrick Henry behind him for like 2 years. And the whole time I'm like, how is this Derrick Henry guy not the starter? Finally, he got that starting opportunity, and he killed it. I just love the way he runs. So good. Truly is the king. Were they trading Henry after the first few weeks? Did he come up? I don't even remember. He started slow last year. Then I must have been doing victory laps because I was like a little bit low on Henry last year. Just concerned about the age. I shouldn't have been. I was too much. I let that get in the way. At the same time, once again this year, I want to be concerned about it, and then now it will be a thing. He'll hit his cliff. Chase Brown going a little ways ahead of me. Would have been interested in that, leaving Breece Hall, Cook, Hampton, of which I have Hampton the highest. I have Hampton and Kyren Williams just in their own little tier right now. Or it's Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, but I have Higgins ahead of Garrett. Whereas Kyren went in this draft already. Okay, so I think there are more running backs. You guys would each have to take like 2 running backs and the 2 that I like to be upset there. So, T. Higgins it is. Come on, T. Stay healthy for me. Little injury happy right now with my team. Neighbors, McCaffrey, Higgins. I was all in on Saquon. I had Saquon much higher than like everybody. He projected as my RB1, and I think I had him ranked RB2 or 3. Yeah, exactly. It was I could not understand how people weren't more high up on him last offseason. I had him. I was happy enough to get him like pick 11 or something, and that was even he was going like early 2nd round. Felt kind of like how Christian McCaffrey, you know, you can get him early 2nd round, and that's 12 team he was going early 2nd round. And maybe he'll just kill it again this year. I mean, to be honest, if you're San Francisco, I feel like you're not... At this point of his career, you might as well run him into the ground, right? Like, I don't know. Everybody's always run him into the ground. I feel like he just tells coaches to just, no, I'm not taking breaks. Because he might have been injured a little less in his career if he didn't get utilized so much. But every time he's been healthy, he's stud. I'm going to have to reread that sentence slowly. Omari and Hampton going around the turn, you turd. Sheila. So I think that leaves me to take my boy James Cook, which I'm okay with right now. He might get lower in the rankings by the time we get to draft time if things aren't cleared up more. George Kittle. Tempting. Jaden Daniels. Tempting. But let's just start out here. Your team, Sheila's team, 1 concussion away from the lottery pick. Hampton, Hill hasn't like had a lot of concussions, has he? I think Captain's been healthy. Maybe I'm missing something on that. All right. Oh, you try to go. I don't care about bye weeks. People get injured. So many things happen. Rosters change. If I have everybody on the same bye week, I don't care. I'll forfeit that week, and I'll be stronger than everybody else's team every other week because I'll be at full strength every other week. I don't care. It works one way or another. Yeah, basketball, you got to worry about bye weeks to some extent. Yeah, I don't care about. Never have really. In fact, I almost prefer I just be weak one week, and maybe I get lucky that week anyways, and I still win without like three of my best three players. So, yes, redraft here. I see. If Tua gets concussed again, oh, because you got Achan and Tyreek. Yep. Thank you, Obi. I always need your help. That's true. Achan will still be fairly good, though. Just not as good. Ken Walker's another guy who's currently got an injury. Same with Joe Mixon, which the computer took probably earlier than he'll be going for now. I'm going Stephon Diggs? I am not. I don't think I've drafted Stephon Diggs yet. Diggs ADP coming up? Not that soon. Alright, it's still a little ways away. There he is. It's like 4 rounds. I think Demario Douglas is the target merchant. Rasheed Rice, late 5th round. Very tempting. James Conner, RJ Harvey, Travion. All right. So I've passed up on my quarter. Joe. Ooh. You know what? I gotta stick with my board. I don't have. I think this is Harvey for me. It might be Carner. Nope, it is Harvey. Did I get him? Ooh, that was at the last second, wasn't that? Rice wasn't there, neither was Marquise Brown. Well, Marquise Brown had come back from an injury for some of that. Worthy's not getting over 100 targets again, unless there's Rasheed Rice is gone all season again. And Marquise Brown's gone all season again. I'm not as high up on Worthy as others. I love Worthy. I just don't think he's very good for fantasy. Unless there's other injuries. I haven't taken Quinshawn yet where he's currently going, and part of that might be because the computer also probably drafts him, closer to his ADP, which is slowly finally coming down. But he's still going too high. I want Quinshawn back here. Not up here. And just currently with the news, no contract, I'm really just not drafting Quinshawn. It would probably have to be a team where I went running back heavy early, like 3 running backs in the first 5 rounds, where I'm like, okay, I'll take a shot on him. I'm hoping there will be more clarity by the time that we get into, the draft time. Because if I know he's coming back after 6 weeks, then I am willing to draft him. But he's not with the team all off. He's not going to have an off season at all. There's a ramp up period once he comes back, probably of It might be a 3-week ramp-up period at least because of the fact that he's not going to even have a training camp with the team. That puts you all the way to like week 9. I don't know when their bye week is. There might be a bye week even after that. And then it's just, it's just a lot of questions, and you're holding on to a guy for that long, and you can't put him into your IR spot, at least in most formats. Oh, Obi, you had to take Pickens. Gersh, darn it. Jameson Williams. Another running back. I mean, honestly, with Cook and McCaffrey, that might not be the worst idea. Laporte is still available. Joe Burrow's still available. I think this is where I will pop off and grab Burrow. Yeah, I thought so too, but the news on Chubb Hire Me has been Hire Me Adult Swim. Love Bowers at the 210. I still think it's too early for where everybody else is going. Like, I just think Bowers, McBride go a little bit too early in general. But I also have McBride ahead of Bowers. So that's why I don't like Bowers up there. Yep, 2 years from surgery. His head coach said that he works hard and that he's not the same man that he once was. And all the beat reporters say that he has lost his burst completely. So that takes those big plays away at the very least. It sounds like, so I'm still not totally against grabbing him late, but I've been much higher on him all off season than ADP. I'm still higher on him than ADP and ECR, but not by so much. Yeah, there's a chance that they are. I mean, you can get them they're good buys. I still don't draft them because I just wait for the next tier of tight end at that point, because there's probably not going to be a difference between those guys and those guys. But Andrews just a little bit touchdown reliant. I've drafted Andrews a lot of years of his career, and the last 2 have been very disappointing. And I've even gotten him at a good value. Because for whatever reason, my league doesn't love Mark Andrews. A lot of my league mates haven't. RP10, what do you think about Jamar first pick? I think you have to go Jamar first pick. And Lamar right here? I mean, if you're going to go... Well, I mean, I would say if you're going to go with your third pick with Lamar, if you're going Jamar Chase, somebody and Lamar, I'm not totally opposed to it. There's still like Ladd McConkey, Jacobs, Chase Brown, probably Drake London. There's still guys there that I would rather over Lamar. But if you want Lamar Chase or something, Lamar Jackson or something, you kind of have to take him there. So it is what it is, I'm not saying I condone it, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, that's such a terrible game plan. Like, yeah, go right ahead. Lamar's awesome. Sheila also has target concerns for Andrews. Yeah, the quarterbacks late are just crazy this year. D's nuts! You're going to miss your turn. Or have you been missing it? You were here early. I'll have to pay attention next time. No, now he's on auto. I should have shouted earlier. Love to see the new faces here. If you guys are interested, stick around. After this, we'll be doing the setup for a listener league. Just okaying everything, and putting a link out there for those who want to get into it. Initially, thinking September 4th will be the draft time. I might need to get your emails. I don't know about that. We'll see. I'll kind of go through the setup of it, the league. I already have it, like, the base setup. I think it's worth spending a third. Oh, I got to pick. So, some good running backs left, but I probably need wide receiver. And it's probably going to be my guy. So, to me, the question is... Yeah, and Ridley's still there. Do I want 2 wide receivers here? Or a running back and a wide receiver? Aaron Jones, Swift, Pollard. I got Harvey, Cook, McCaffrey. Oh, I got auto-picked. Hold up. I'm pausing the draft. Hold up. Don't take your pick, Obi. I took too long. I want not Waddle. I want Calvin Ridley. Okay. I'm going to unpause it, Obi. Sorry about that. I thought I had a little more time. Yeah, I love Scatterboo, man. Love him. The current injury thing for him concerns me right now. It kind of sucks, especially for early season, but I'm still not off of him. I moved him down a couple spots in my rankings, but I'm still high on him. Yeah, Bo Nix I feel like could go either way, but I like Nix. I like the third round for a quarterback actually this year. I don't usually like early round quarterbacks, but I think you can get away with it this year. And I don't mind getting one of those first 5 quarterbacks. But when you can get Jaden Daniels in the 5th round too, it's like, I'll take that. Scatterboo should be the RB1, like, just no doubt. He should take the majority of the carries. He's also a good receiver. Like, he's just so good. And he's the type of back that he's not going to need, like, to learn the position or, like, you want to use him. He's the kind of player that you just want to use his first contract to the full ability that you can, run him to the ground, and then probably let him go elsewhere. He might have a short career. Yeah, I mean, I have Mahomes as like my QB7. I expect him to have a bounce back too with a full allotment of receivers. Worthy, Hawkinson, Rice, Connor, Hampton, Hill, Nico, Achane. Doubling up on Kansas City wide receivers and the Miami offense. Risky. So, my plan worked. I get my Chris Olave. Ugh. I'm be going tight end real late here. This is gonna be the one where I just punt and tight end because that running back room of mine is not safe either. I really started this off with some injury concern and some contract concern and some regression concern. Those first 4 picks of mine could turn out really great or pretty horrible, which is okay. You draft to win, which is why like Chris Olave on a roster like this too. It's like, if things go south, maybe Chris Olave will save it, or maybe things just really go south and my team sucks and it sucks and I have a horrible fantasy season, but hey, I took a shot at it. Better than finishing 4th. Well, not necessarily. It doesn't feel better. But better than having a team that had no shot at winning. All right. Speaking of tight ends, I should check them out. Okay. So I think I have Cam Scatterboo at the highest, probably for my running backs at this point. I do have Isaiah Pacheco ahead of Cam, but he's gone. All right. Yep. Oh, I have Tank Bigsby actually ahead of Cam, but I don't need to do that right now. I'm so worried. I just can't get on board with Rashid Shaheed. And I'm definitely not taking Olave and Shaheed. Oh, yeah, there's no reason not to love Tyler Warren, but I think he and Josh Downs and a probably limited pass totals with looks like Anthony Richardson at quarterback. I just don't think it's I don't think tight end 5 or better is possible, which is really kind of what I hope for. But like even tight end 7 or better, I just think Josh Downs and him work too much in the same area of the field. And then once again, especially if it's Ashton Genty, holy cow! Especially if it's Anthony Richardson at quarterback, 25 pass attempts a game or something like that. It's tough. It's a tough world to live in. And then they also have Alec Pierce, Adonai Mitchell, and of course Michael Pittman. And then, of course, your running back, who they actually targeted a fair bit last year. So I just think there's too many mouths for Tyler Warren. Not that I'm totally out on it. I might end up getting him in this draft. But I'm not as high on him as some people are. There goes Deegs. So I'd probably take Jordan Mason here. Or do I want to take Jordan Mason here? I think I do. I could probably go Jordan Mason and Tank Bigsby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. That'd be only one more wide receiver. Oh, okay. I think I'll go Dave Njoku here. I'll take the shot on Njoku and I'll grab somebody else. I think a lot of people are concerned that Seattle's going to be worse than last year, and you look at what that was last year and that offensive line. Sam Darnold really struggles behind a bad offensive line. We saw that late in Minnesota's season. So I think that's the concern. Obi, who did you want? Hold up. Pausing. 1 second, Michael. Yeah, I definitely think that Sam Darnold could surprise us. Just, I also think that a lot of people are concerned. You wanted Ricky. We can do that. I think. Is he still there? Yeah. There we go. And if that happens when we do our actual draft, just let me know. I'm not going to sit there and force somebody to take somebody that they didn't want to take because they misclicked on something. So Charbonnet, Harris go there. Yeah, see, this is why I don't mind taking some risk at running back and don't mind taking wide receivers early, and especially why I don't mind taking one of those top quarterbacks, including Joe Burrow here, if he's still there in the 6th, is that when you can get a Jordan Mason, when you can get a Tank Bigsby at the very end of your draft, they're going to be fine for the other advantages that you're able to get. There goes Tyler Warren. Doesn't look like I'm going to get him. Kraft, Kincaid, Loveland. That's my tier that's still available. I actually have Loveland in a tier all on his own. I don't think he quite deserves being a tier above, but I also think that he might be better than... I'm a little less concerned about him from the Tyler Warrens and stuff, and I don't know if I should be anymore. But Vegas is still more higher up on him, so that's why I haven't changed it. I guess this is when I take Emeka Egbuka. Surprisingly so. We're going for it with this. We might as well. Let's do it. This is my all YOLO squad. Ridley, Olave. Yeah, this is such a risky team, but also I kind of love it. Oh, man. It's one of those teams where I go into the year all hopeful about how awesome the team might be. The reality, we'll find out. Brock Purdy here, so beautiful as your starting quarterback, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with him. He could be better than any of these guys. Probably not better than these guys, up to Joe Burrow. But everybody else, he could be better than them. He's been a top 10 quarterback his whole career, including that rookie season of his. Deegs, Warren, Hawkinson, Worthy, Rice, Hill. Yeah, you got some risk on your roster too. Connor. Probably want one more running back late here. Sheila. 64 sparks of hope so far in best ball. Best ball is addicting. I must be responsible for managing my boss's $200 entry for my work league. Oh, well, that's kind of nice of him to let you. I mean, that's kind of. It's like, hey, here, there's not a spot for you, but you want to manage it? I don't know how to. They better tip you for that, or like do a. They better give you a little gift of thanks when all is said and done. So I believe Tank Digsby is my man up here for running back. I was going to take tight end. I did mean to take tight end there. I didn't. That's okay. I kind of wanted Tank. We'll see what I get at tight end. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's lovely. That's nice every day. My boss definitely did not take me out to lunch every day. We had enough lunch opportunities and stuff, but not every day. Obi, best ball is you don't set your lineups at all throughout the year, and it just picks you draft your roster. That's your roster for the entirety of the season, and then it just automatically will take the highest results from the draft picks. Like each week, whoever scored the most points, the top. I think it's 3 wide receiver on Underdog. Ferguson, Dallas, Pitts. I think this is Pitts for me. Do I really want to add Pitts to Njoku or just take a different position? Mason Taylor. I think I just go with another position. Screw it. Trey Harris, my boy. We'll take a shot on you. I could use some help at wide receiver, potentially. Maybe not. But I can always drop him and then maybe get him back again another time, too. You never know. Yeah, I don't think Devin Culp's going to be upseating Otten or anything. I understand he's a really good, a really athletic receiver. I don't think he's a year 2 breakout receiver, but he did a couple things last year, didn't he? When he got an opportunity. I love Chili's honey. Chipotle honey sauce, dude. That sauce is so good. Kyle Pitts breakout season. I mean, man, I almost drafted him here because I got Njoku, who I'm optimistic about. Little less so, like late season, and not sure about in terms of the optimism. There's a chance, but this is that roster. It only made sense to have Njoku on this roster. All right, so you had St. Brown, Metcalf, Pickens. I like your roster. Mooney, with the injury right now, a little concerned about that. Might eat into his year, but as long as you can withstand the early season, he should hopefully be fine. Higgins, Pearsall, that's nice. Henry, Hall, Jones, Caleb. Little thin at running back for me, but if things work out well enough, especially when Aaron Jones is one of them, just because of his injury history. Pitts, McBride. Yeah, so I wouldn't draft Pitts there. If you're looking for advice, I don't know if you are. when you have McBride. You're never going to start somebody over Trey McBride. If he gets injured, just waiver wire the tight ends. Kyle Pitts very well might be one of those waiver wire tight ends, or maybe it'll be somebody else at that point in the season. I don't like to, especially like a shallower draft like this. But that's just me. Crapcats, Prescott at the end of the draft. It's insanity. That's why I don't care about taking a Burrow or any of those other guys. But at the same time, I do a Burrow up tier ahead. So I'm willing to. Pittman, I don't love. Jacoby, fine. Williams, fine. Smith, Jefferson, nice. I could say it, a concern for every receiver. And Bucky, I guess I'm a little less concerned about now. Kamara, I like. Chuba, okay. Not my favorite, but I get it. He's worth drafting there. Then Charbonnet and Javonte with... Okay, I kind of like Javonte for that, in case, like, Kamara goes down and, maybe a Chuba bye week or he's injured too or something like that. Yeah, that just gives you a nice little security blanket there. And then Charbonnet gives you that high upside, so I like that combo of those two. D's not saying here. Burgos, Barkley, Kyron, should be super sexy as long as Barkley stays healthy. Devontae, Garrett Wilson, lots of upside there. That might be the best starting four. I like this starting four too, of course. I don't think Cook, Wilson, on par-ish. At a quick glance, that feels like probably the best start first four. And then Jaden Daniels at a value in the fifth. Nice. Taking a chance on Hunter. Kelsey. Okay. Debo, Odunze, Juwan I like. Hunter, Debo, Odunze. I mean, if I'm you, I'm just hoping I don't have to rely on any of those guys having a good season outside of Juwan Jennings, which I think saves that. Mason, Dobbins, White, I think that's, a strong finish there. Little lack of upside on the running back depth. Maybe could have gone like Pollard instead of Debo here. And then Odunze, Juwan, Mason... Dobbins, Shaheed, or Trey Harris, depending on what you think of them. Would have been my preference there by a little ways. All right. Practice. But you might not care to stick around here. I don't really like my draft. Yeah, Sheila, it's not my favorite draft of yours. It's kind of like mine, where it's just like, except I think it's a little... I like mine better, but I think it has those same quality of, like, if everything works well, Rashee Rice pays off. Heck, if Worthy pays off, one or both of them pay off for you. The running backs stay healthy and Omarion pays off, and, it could go well. I don't love, in case of injury, what might happen, and I don't love... the dual, like you said, the dual Miami thing in case of concussion, it's a little bit fragile of a roster. But if things go well, Nico Collins, Achane, Hill, if he pays off, the upside there, it could be very nicely. All right, so that brings us to the potential league. So Adult Swim, what I was going to say, every Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we do 2 mock drafts. I usually get done around 10. I like to keep them relatively, like, within that. I try to keep it to, like, that hour and a half range-ish or less, just in terms of, it's more likely that people will click on a video that's not 2 hours long in terms of the VOD-ness of YouTube. But, today, we're not doing 2 drafts, so I spent some extra time up front doing news and stuff. Q coming in just in time. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the league. So, guys, in terms of the settings that I have, so I've talked about September 2nd. I think I kept saying September 4th. And then, so the season starts September 4th. I think Tuesday, September 2nd, considering we're, starting to form this on a Tuesday and everything, seems to be a pretty decent time where a lot of you have always been available. And then there's a couple people who didn't make it today who are usually here. Metro, two days in a row, not joining us. So, well, I think he had his draft, so that's probably why he hasn't been around. Hopefully Metro will come back around here. So, I want to do half PPR. Let me just pull up the... We'll just go through this. So here are... Let me make sure you can see this well. Yes. Seeing the screen well. One quarterback, one running back, one receiver with 4 flexes. So that would be like your tight end, running back, wide receiver, and a flex. So it's still the same. It's still not it's not a big roster, but just a bunch of flex spots. I do want to have a league rule that you must have a tight end on your roster at all times. So that would just be a one of those league rule things. You have to have a tight end on your roster. It could be whoever you want. You don't have to play them. But I want to do this. I'm okay, like, just putting a tight end and then doing a flex. But I mean, why do we have to play a tight end, It's fantasy football. We shouldn't have to do that. And I don't want to do any kickers or defenses. None of that stuff. I thought of getting funky with the flexes. I thought of super flex. This is what I like. So, are you guys cool with this? I actually want to do a league where it's like 6 flexes or 5 flexes. Actually, I want to do like 5 flex spots. No running back, no wide receiver. But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this is maybe just a little bit better. So let me know on that. I'm going to wait to hear any feedback in chat before I go on. See if you're cool with that. I will share... Oh, we'll go over these other settings too. Right now I have it set for 10. If we get to 12, we can get to 12. We got like a month before it. Regular rolling waivers. Regular normal stuff here. Just 1 day for waivers to drop, so you can't like drop a guy on Friday and then nobody has a chance to get to him. I don't like that. Time to review. Trade deadline. I did week 15. Wait, trade deadline. I just kept it what they suggested. I thought of pushing that back. Playoffs starting week 15. Just 4 teams making the playoffs. 1 week per round. So it would be and then the championship though. Where is that? I think I clicked. Did this not save? 15, 16, 17. So I think what I wanted to do was this. So it would be the top 4 teams make the playoffs, week 15, and then the championship for first, second, and then third, fourth, I assume, are played week 16 and 17. So it would be a 2-week championship round. Best team wins, Let's not get funky with it. Let's not get somebody losing their best player on week 17. Week 17 because that team, or only get a half a game out of their player on week 17. Let's at least give them a better chance to not get screwed by like somebody sitting and everything too. Obi, we're all in love with Sheila, It's what can we do? Agree with no kickers, no defenses. Awesome. Hate that my home league still has them. Defensive players are fun. I agree. I've done them before. I just haven't done them in so long. I just want to keep it a little bit more simple. Also, just in general for everybody, I just want to keep it a little more simple. Winner can take me out. Just got to head to... I think you said you were from Georgia. I don't know why I feel like that. I probably have no clue. Just gotta find Sheila. You gotta find Sheila. Where in the world is Sheila? Sheila. Do have a consolation bracket compared to a toilet bowl. I don't know if you have a preference, but I feel like I don't want the losing teams to continue to play. I want the winning teams to continue to play. So it's winning to, prove that you're not the worst team. How do the loser bracket teams play to see who is the best of the worst? So teams either 1 through 6 or 1 through 8, depending on the size, 10 or 12 team, or 8 team would just be 1 through 4. Play, and the winners move on, advance to the next round. Toilet bowl, the losers advance to the next round, and then the winners are just leaving there not being able to play anymore. I guess that does clarify Sheila is single, though. 2 IR spots, because why not? Why screw your roster because you can't put a guy on IR? So I'm in a league with 3 IR spots. It feels a little lenient at 3. I like it. I get use out of it. I cheat with it a little bit by, going out and just, when I'm going to make a waiver wire change midweek, I will drop my player. I'll go pick up a potential stud later on down the road that's on IR, put him in my IR spot, and then make my waiver wire change because I had a free IR spot. And not everybody else does that in the league. And I always feel a little bit chintzy for it, but at the same time, by the rules, is fine. And, so I always felt I was a little bad about that. And you cannot put players, you can only put players who are out in your IR spot, or if they are on IR, I assume they should be able to also be in that spot, because that's not even an option. Allow NA players, not available players on IR? No way. Toilet bowl loser has to do something, but the consolation bracket, the winner doesn't get anything to do. I mean, the toilet bowl, the winner doesn't get anything to do. And I want to award the winners. So if there's a major outcry for the toilet bowl, then let me know. Obviously, redraft league, not going to bother with keeper. If we do this again next year, if we get into it, maybe we can do some keeper. Even dynasty would be really fun if we have a lot of fun with this year. Everybody's really active in it. And then I didn't choose any of these extra options here. Back to the roster settings. Sheila. Anything more than 7 is probably too much. I don't know. Were you talking about bench? Were you talking about starters? Were you saying I should do... Or were you including quarterback? Were you saying quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and 3 as 7? Or were you suggesting another flex? I was looking. I'll go right back. Then we'll do the scoring, and it's really simple scoring. I only made 2 changes to the scoring. I feel like there is a link that I can send to you guys somewhere. I did no divisions, by the way. That leads me, actually, there is a setting where the top, if it's 10 team, the top 5 teams would get an extra win each week, and the bottom 5 teams would get an extra win each week. This is another way to help make sure that the best teams actually, it removes some of the bad luck out, or good luck, out of the equation. Do you guys want me to put that setting up so that you get your win for your individual win or loss for your matchup that week, and then the top 5 scoring teams, or 6, get a victory as well, even if they got a loss in their individual matchup, as well as the bottom 5 getting a loss, even if they had gotten a win, or you get 2 wins, 2 losses. Do you guys want that setting? I kind of do. It's a little bit awkward, but also, once again, it removes some of that bad luck, good luck. Okay, it sounds like... Oh, don't delete league. Guys, where the heck? There's a link. Maybe it's over here. This is it. Okay. There you go. You can join into the league there. Sheila doesn't know what would be better. Not the COVID. I got rid of that. They don't. Crimes committed. No, Sean. Players are not put on IR for that. That is like NA and stuff like that. So it's only players who are out, listed as out for the week, or players who are on injured reserve, actually. I think that's all it should be available for. I'm not really going to budge on that one. As nice as it is to make it a more lenient spot, I don't think so. All right. Okay. It seems mostly that we are in agreement on that setting. So let me see if that setting was in here. I don't think it is. Allow draft pick an extra game each week against league median. Never mind. There it is. So we will turn that on. So there would be, once again, you should be, it's the worst thing in the world when you have the highest scoring team in the league and you don't even make the playoffs. I've had at least similar, those types of things happen with bad luck teams. It just sucks. I mean, last year I had a bad luck team. I had 2 teams last year. One finished second, one finished 12th during the regular season, but finished 9th after the playoffs because I won all my playoff matchups because my team was not bad. But throughout the year, I went up again. It was just terrible. It was bad luck. Well, what we can do is we can make it a little more pure by doing the median thing. I don't like not having individual matchups. That's part of football is individual matchups, but we'll at least equalize that a little bit with those median games. Some leagues do it where it's just like the top half of the league gets a win and the bottom half gets a loss. So for passing, 1 point every 25 yards, that's the standard. We'll keep it like that. Passing touchdown, 4 point per passing touchdown league. 2 point conversions are 2 points. That's normal. I think usually interceptions are just 1 point, and I don't get that because fumbles are 2 points loss, and fumbles are like a 50-50 deal. Sometimes a player fumbles, but a different teammate picks it up, and then they don't get penalized for that fumble. Well, I can guarantee you the team, the coaching staff, and their own personal stats, they're penalizing them. So in this league, I also have that setting changed. We'll get to that one. But why should an interception, which, sometimes, less often, it bounces off the wide receiver's hands and it's just bad luck. But more often than not, it's the quarterback makes a mistake or a defensive player makes a really good play. Either way, I think it should be -2. So I have -2 on there. If there is a big uproar on that, then I will address the uproar. Other than that, you will notice I'm not doing any of this, you had a 40-yard play, you get an extra point. None of these bonus crap. You got a 40-yard play, you just got 40 yards. That's great. What's wrong with the 4 points for your 40 yards that you got? So speaking of yardage, 1 point for every 10 yards. That's, of course, why that example ended up with 4 points. Rushing touchdowns, 6 points. And 2-point conversions, 2 points. No bonuses. Nothing weird for attempts. I do have one weird rule that I will need you guys okay with. But half PPR, half a point per reception. Receiving yards, same scoring as the running backs. Receiving touchdowns, 6. 2-point conversion, 2. I thought of doing a reception bonus for tight ends, and I changed my mind, and I did something else. So you'll see that, just a little bonus in this league that does not require you to have a tight end to help push the tight ends up a little bit. So, no kicking, it doesn't matter. These points, it doesn't matter. Team defense, it doesn't matter. There's so much luck involved with kickers especially. Team defense, I wouldn't be opposed to having if people wanted it. And then, we've got some miscellaneous rules to look at. So, what I did, I think this is supposed to be -2. No, I landed on -1. So should I go back and change interception to -1? So what I did is you don't need to lose the fumble, which is normally -2. Instead, anytime you fumble, anytime a player fumbles, you're going to lose a point for that fumble. I think the interception should be -2 because quarterbacks also score more points than other positions anyways. There was nothing special about tight ends yet, Sheila. So I will explain the little thing that I did do for the tight ends. Otherwise, are you talking about this? I have no requirement for a tight end to be played on your roster. I am just requiring every team to have a tight end on their roster, but they don't need to play them any week, technically. I would love to get into I have like ideas for what I would like to do for leagues, but it starts to get too complex. It just starts to be too much. So, that's what I did. No tight ends needed to be played every week. That's the official rule is no tight ends needed. The unofficial rule is you need a tight end on your roster. Because there's no team in the NFL that doesn't have tight ends on their roster. And I do think, at its heart, fantasy football mimics real football, right? So that's why I also landed on the 4 flex spots. I don't like too many flex spots because every team could only have 5 players on the field. It just helps to keep everything, I think, a little bit more symmetrical in terms of the demand of the scoring potential of players and everything. Tight ends are just another receiver. Just have to have one on your roster. Yep. Because, once again, in the league, you don't need you can go 4. I mean, I know technically every game tight ends are on the field for every team at some point. But, some of them just use their tight ends as blockers, basically, and dump the ball off a little bit. Like, I like it better that way. And there's going to be a small bonus, too. This is a normal rule here. Doesn't seem like anybody has any issues with the fumbling and interception changes to those scoring. No bonuses here. But there... So I don't know if this allows it. What I wanted to do was have an extra quarter of a point. See, it saved it last time. I'll have to come back in and check if this turns it back down to 0. Or maybe I had thought differently and then I turned it to 0. I think I put it to 0 because I was going to see if you guys would be okay with it. So an extra quarter of a point, nothing huge, for first downs. And from what I understand, first down tight end premium leagues end up scoring-wise, end up being a bonus, similar to if it's a receiving bonus as well on top of it. But this just, some of those back-end tight ends, waiver wire tight ends that you might end up using are like first down merchants. I mean, like a Hunter Henry would be a guy who I would imagine might have a fair amount of first downs. So, those weeks where you gotta throw a tight end in there for whatever reason on your roster, there you go, you're ready. That's another reason why I just did... I actually thought about just doing a 5-team bench because of the looseness of this scenario. But I like depth, and for people who take 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks at least, you're very welcome for doing that for you instead of 5, because otherwise you might be screwing yourself. So I just stuck with 6 there. But I think that was it for the rules. So I'm bored for the tight end quarter point bonus for first downs. It'll be relatively, innocuous. You'll just wonder why somebody scored a little bit more on this in this league than in a different league. But it might be a couple points. Could be a difference maker. I could do it half. I mean, the most first downs a tight end's probably ever getting would be like 4 in a game, right? So that'd be 2 points. That feels... There's no way there's like... doing more than that. Let's just do it. Half point for a first down. Just bump up those tight ends a little bit. Other than that, I shared the link, and I'll just share that out at every step now, in case you guys didn't get to it, or if anybody in the future is still watching this, to watch it. And I was thinking draft date, we go, nobody has argued against it, September 2nd, Tuesday. Probably like 8 p.m., maybe. East Coast, West Coast, I mean, that's 5. Might have to be a little bit later to adjust for coastal times. I assume I can change this. This is relative to your local time zone. Yeah. Let's do 8:30. Everybody makes it to 8:30. From Wisconsin, live in Florida right now. I'll probably go back to Wisconsin someday. All right, so we got 6 so far. So definitely, Metro will join in. I know Michael, a different Michael than this Michael, also wants to be in. So we have at least 8, and we have that month to go. So I think we'll be able to get up to 10, hopefully 12. I think we're set for now, for today, on getting a league. I'm excited. I was hopeful 2 years ago that maybe somehow a league would come together. Last year I pushed it, and there just wasn't enough actual bite. And then you guys, I didn't even push it this year. You guys got me to go ahead and do it again. So, awesome. Kapua! Anything else, guys? 27 days. 28 days. Is that right? 28 days for Donnie Darko? 28's my number. And I will randomize once we get a full squad, or maybe... Yeah, I'll wait, and then I'll randomize the order as well. All right. I think that's it. Any other questions, guys? Otherwise, we're done. People seem to be down for the format. I'm excited to do a flex-heavy format. Very excited for that. I always felt like, why do we force ourselves into these 2 running back, 2 wide receivers? You can't use your sweet little winks and hearts, Sheila. Do you really want the 1? It is Jamar Chase. The 1 is pretty... This is one of the few years where, yeah, I kind of do want that 1, because even around this turn, it feels pretty good. A lot of years, it's like, I don't want the 1. I also like around here. I kind of like the edges. The middle gets a little bit muddy. But if you can get CeeDee Lamb in the middle, then I like that start. I don't fall for cheap tricks like that, Sheila. I know you were joking. I'm incredibly sarcastic. If I ever sound serious, I'm almost never serious. I just kind of sound like it sometimes. Maybe a little monotone, That is it, my beautiful peoples. I'm looking for my out. Here we go. Robbie D gets it. The man. Robbie, did you get in here? Robbie, you going to join? You're not Burgos, are you? No, that's a Michael. Let me, I'll resend the link. Oh, yeah. You crab cats. Crabby kitty. All right. Now, where were we? Ending the stream. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, rest of your evening. And I hope to see you guys on Thursday. And I will continue to push to get 10 or 12 into the league. If it's... I'm trying to think. Screw it. All right. Have a good night. Bye-bye.